who plays for Centurion Rugby Club in the Colton Cup in Pretoria. Stephen, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, and you, Dan. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to do the interview today.
Let's get right into it. You stayed involved in rugby post-school. Talk us through the experience of playing amateur rugby.
Yeah, I've always wanted to stay involved with club rugby after school. It's an important part of my life in terms of health and fitness, and it's also a good opportunity to meet people, to network. I've been fortunate to meet a lot of good people along the way, and to network. So those connections have been invaluable, and I've made a lot of good friends along the way.
You played for Maidenhead Rugby Football Club in England. How did that come about, and what was the greatest lesson you learned on and off the field?
The experience overseas was a unique one. It was an opportunity that came about through networking, through someone I knew who was living in the UK and moved over there from South Africa. Maidenhead were looking for a flyhalf. And they sort of approached me with the opportunity, and obviously it was an opportunity that I was really excited about. It was one that I felt I wanted to experience. I'd always wanted to play rugby overseas, and so yeah, the opportunity came about, and I took it with both hands. The biggest lesson I suppose I learned from that experience was we've got really good weather here in South Africa. We're very fortunate. But it's a very, very different style of play over there. But I think the club rugby setup there is run a lot more professionally than it is here. So that was quite an eye-opening experience. But as a whole, it was a trip I really enjoyed, and I learnt a lot. And it's certainly something I would recommend for youngsters to go. If they have the opportunity to do it, they must.
You represented the Griquas in the 2016 Currie Cup. Were you ready for professional rugby, and is it all that it is cracked up to be?
Yeah, the Griquas opportunity was also something that I didn't really see coming, but it was again an opportunity that I took with both hands. I think for any young South African growing up playing a decent level of rugby, professional rugby and Currie Cup in particular is kind of where you want to set your standards, and it's an opportunity to do something you love and make a living from it. So I think for most young South Africans, it's an aspiration for all of us. I was fortunate to be given the opportunity, and it was one that I really enjoyed. I found difficult at times, to be honest. There is a lot more to professional sport in South Africa than people might think. It's a lot tougher than people think it is, especially to make it at that level. I learnt a lot. I really felt I was ready for professional rugby. I was fortunate when I arrived in Kimberley, and I got the contract. I did know some of the guys that were playing there because I had played with them or played against them beforehand. So fortunately I knew people. So I really did feel I was ready to play at that level. It was just tough at times to stay positive when you aren't always given the opportunities that you would like, but those are also learning curves. And as a whole, I learned a lot, and I still had the chance to play professional rugby, which is a privilege and an honour to be part of a proud union like Griquas.
Stephen, you represented the Centurion Rugby Club for quite some time now. Let's talk a little bit about club rugby, and the first thing we like to ask you is your thoughts on the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I think the Gold Cup is a fantastic initiative. I was fortunate enough to be involved in what was then the Community Cup, which is now the Gold Cup. I think it's a great initiative because it gives club sides the opportunity to play against other top clubs in other provinces, which ultimately that's where you want to test yourself against the best, not just in your province. You want to be playing at a national level. You want to be playing against teams from different provinces, and I guess ultimately at the end of Gold Cup you have a better scope of where you are. So I think it's a fantastic initiative. I think think club rugby, particularly in Durban, Cape Town and Pretoria, is very strong. Personally, I'd like to see a more expansive version of Gold Cup. I'd like to see, at least 2 sides from Pretoria, 2 sides from Cape Town, 2 sides from Durban be involved. I feel like these provinces are more than good enough to host at least 2 really competitive, strong teams. But that's just a personal thought. But I think as a whole, it's a really great initiative, and I think club rugby is healthy, and I think it's strong in South Africa. So it's a really good place to be, playing rugby down here. So I'm happy to still be involved with club rugby in Pretoria.
Stephen, what are your rugby aspirations?
Well, for me, obviously having experience playing professionally and playing Currie Cup, as I said, I'm immensely proud of the fact that I've done that, and I'm proud that I've done that on my own. I didn't have an agent, and I worked really hard to get there, and I took the opportunity when it came my way, and I'm proud of that, and I look back with that on fond memories, or with fond memories. But I think as far as rugby goes, I'm quite happy to be playing club rugby with friends now on a more social basis. I have a legal career that I'm looking to embark on now, and right now that's my main focus, and the bigger picture for me is obviously a successful legal career. So at this point in time, that's kind of my focus. But as far as rugby goes, I'd still like to play a decent level of club rugby in the Carlton for at least another year or 2. So and I guess in the event if an opportunity to play overseas came about, then it's definitely something I would consider. But if I'm to be staying in South Africa, I think club rugby and probably the Bulls amateur side is probably as good as it's going to get for me for now. But as I said, my bigger picture is obviously is a career and a prolonged career in law. So that's where my head is right now.
Stephen, Game On Media would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for spending some time with us as we learn more about you and your rugby career.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed the opportunity to chat to you guys today.